cannot imagine the thoughts that I've been having. Like, give me your time, open your eyes, I'll show you the way. I'll be the light, girl, don't you ever think you got it figured out. I've been talking big, I can back it up, let me show you how. Just a simple touch, I can make you smile.
So, I'm thinking about, you know, recording some songs and, you know, doing some voiceover work. But I don't know what kind of mic to get. So let me know in the comment section what type of mic I should buy, you know, for that. Like the best one for like a low price or whatever. I don't know, really. I don't know what to look at. I think there's a mic called Blue something. I'm not entirely sure. But I'm a very cheap person. But, I don't know. But I'm definitely looking into getting a mic for like recording and songs and stuff like that. But yeah, let me know what kind of mic I should buy for like the best price. Yeah. So
Number 15.
Oh, this is
the hacker. When you venture into the deep end of the deep web, you run into many mysterious individuals. Oftentimes, they're tech-savvy and well-versed in hacking. Redditor Gerard 1995 noted that there are some folks on the dark web that you shouldn't cross, and in his own words, this is one of them. The dude who can hack you and put horrible things on your computer so you can go to prison, he writes. I wouldn't annoy that dude. Of course, this isn't an isolated issue. I mean, there's not just one lone hacker that can do this, but many. Others in the thread note that this happens all the time. Lemon Kanan PL wrote that it happened in his hometown to several elderly people. Their computers were hacked, vile stuff was planted.
And that's fucked up. That's even more fucked up that you're gonna do that to some old folks. You're gonna do that to the old people. And before they know it, you know, you got motherfucking FBI banging on their door, talking about something. What's that big ass thing that they use to like knock doors down with? They're gonna be like, doom, FBI, bitch. That's fucked up, yo. And because they old, they probably gonna die, you know, from like a oh no, and then they just pass out because their heart can't take that. That's messed up. You gonna do that to some old people? Damn, that's messed up. You was probably the motherfucker that sat in the back of the classroom, not saying shit the whole class. And when somebody, you know, when somebody like walk past your desk, they accidentally, you know, knocked one of your 13 pencils that's on your desk off the table. And you be like, don't say nothing, you just stare them down. And you just go back to what you were doing.
And then they were forced into giving the hacker money, or else the implanted files wouldn't be removed. It was happening so often that they had to put out a notice letting the community know of the epidemic, and that if anyone have this happen to them, they should report it no matter how it might look bad on them. As Redditor Why Am I Still Online puts it, this is the kind of stuff that makes you second guess making a playful jab at someone on the internet. Number 14. A picture is worth 1,000 words. How would you feel if you went out to dinner one night at your local Five Guys, and when you returned home and fired up your computer, you found a photo of yourself on the screen? I think I'd be itching all over with paranoia. That's what happened to Redditor Kletch when he was browsing Tor. As he succinctly explained, he was on Tor, then went to Five Guys to eat. When he returned home, he got on Tor again and discovered a photo of him from earlier that night at that very restaurant. Was someone stalking him? Who? How did they know he was on the deep web in the first place? How did they know he was going to Five Guys? There are too many questions to unload here and not enough answers.
Oh no!
Don't worry though, Reddit has plenty of theories. Or as another Redditor, Fa'oa thought this Redditor was about to lose his life. At least this life-taking attempt didn't succeed, but he did manage to creep out Clutch and all the rest of us in the process. Number 13. Military surplus site. Anyone who surfs the web knows that the surface can be scary enough. So what happens when you dive deeper? Redditor Blast33.
What happens? What happens when you dive deeper? Bitch, you get fucked up. No condom necessary. Oh. You get, the deeper you get, the harder you get fucked. I'm sorry. And I forgot to put my bitch on airplane mode. So, literally, if somebody calls me, it's over. Damn, I forgot to put my shit on airplane mode. Man, fuck, I be fucking up sometimes. I really hope nobody calls me. Or, like, nothing just stops the recording, because I'm going to be pissed.
Wrote about his experience on the dark web saying, found a military surplus site once. This site sold all the equipment the actual military would have. For a few weeks I was worried that someone was going to knock on my door and start asking questions. Others on the thread noted that often the ammo is considered against the law to sell, while the firearm isn't. But when it comes to the ammo, you may be looking at legality issues. As we run through this list, you'll find there are a lot more of those on the deep web. Number 12. Dark web scavenger hunt. Mystery, intrigue, some scary deep web stories actually end up being worthwhile. Redditor Minty Truffle wrote of his experience on the deep net saying, I was part of the No Love Deep Web alternative reality game, where we had to do a deep net scavenger hunt, which culminated in me driving to—
What the fuck? Whoa. So they made a game out of this shit. They made a fucking game about the dark web. They made a game. This shit is not a game. This shit is not a game. It's never a game when you talking, thinking, doing the dark, deep web. It's not a game. And for somebody to actually make a playable game, that person that made that game about the dark deep web is definitely the motherfucker that was in the back of the classroom that didn't say shit throughout the whole classroom. And if you crossed that motherfucker, he wouldn't say shit to you. He would just stare you down.
In New York to answer a payphone at 3 a.m., Redditors responded with many theories and questions, so Minty Truffle obliged, detailing what the scavenger hunt entailed. The Redditor said that a cryptic image was uploaded to 4chan with a hex code in it, which led to a Tor site download. After freaking out a bit, one user opened the download, which had nothing but more codes. Users then searched the deepnet and actually found YouTube videos, one of which had a payphone. They located the payphone, and one of the game's informants told users to answer the phone at 3 a.m. on a specific date. When the Redditor arrived along with 4 others, they received the next clue when the phone rang. It took them 2 blocks away to an empty theater. After searching it, they discovered that the clue led nowhere, and the archive remains uncracked. Redditor Alex Katsuni said, "This actually sounds fun, maybe scary, I'm not quite sure. Fun or scary, what do you think?" Number 11.
Scary as
We
fuck.
See You.
No, you
Redditor
don't.
Fake
Not me.
Fakington has a scary deep web story that will prompt you to look over your shoulder. The Redditor says that one day he was browsing sites, blogs, and GeoCities sites. when he came across a strange but well-designed page that looked like a conglomeration of random thoughts from various people. What were the thoughts? The Redditor believes they were cryptic messages, and upon further investigation, he found a number of IP addresses hidden away in the JavaScript comments. The IPs led to university banner messages that warned that he was entering a secure system, others to servers with next to nothing on them, and lastly to a web server that had a large directory of files and images.
See, that's what I'm talking about. If you're already on the web, right, and you find yourself not on the dark web, but like you're getting close to that point, and something pops up right before you go to that, like to the dark web, but right before you go to, something pops up and it says, don't go beyond this point. If you do, you're fucked. Don't go beyond that point. You're fucked. And if you do, you can forget about the lubricant.
Which seemed to be mental health professionals' military and medical records. Well, this was curious more than creepy. The worst was yet to come. In the Redditor's own words, as I browsed from a subdirectory back to the parent, at the top was a new HTML file named something like onehellothere.html. The timestamp was from right that minute. I opened it, and in plain text was the message, "We see you." The server dropped 15 seconds later, as I'm sure the Redditor's heart dropped with it. Number 10. Human Experiment Journals. One anonymous user shared his secondhand experience with the deep web. He wrote, something that really stuck with me and disturbed me was these human experiment journals, which documented human experimentation on homeless or taken individuals. Another anonymous...
It's already bad enough that I know, and everybody knows, well, the majority of the population knows that, you know, that the government is like doing tests on animals. That's already bad enough. But to actually do it on innocent people, homeless people, or people that don't really that is so fucked up that I can't even process that. The hell is wrong with people? Oh my God, that's so fucked up. No matter what class you are, no matter if you're upper class, I don't know, middle class, lower class, homeless, I don't really give a fuck. A person is a person. A human is a human. You can't just be treating people like they're fucking nothing. Like, that's so fucked up, bro. Like, damn.
Editor wrote that while he understands the skepticism about deep web stories, they shouldn't be dismissed outright, because some of them are true. He points to the one that was featured on 60 Minutes as an example. The culprit had done some truly evil things, which he'd videotaped and then posted on the deep web. This just goes to show that some of the most depraved and outrageous things really do occur.
Oh.
And human experiment journals may truly be one of them. Number 9. I know who you are.
No, you don't.
Seeing a photo of yourself is one thing, but when someone online knows your name, Redditor Big Wise Guy 55 was navigating.
That scared the fuck out of me. Like, yo, can you imagine that shit? Oh, it's like that movie, The Mirrors, or Mirrors, or something like that. Yeah, can you imagine? You know how creepy that is? That's scary as shit. You looking at yourself in the mirror, but then your reflection literally grabs you by the throat. Like that. Damn, that's scary. But if you're on a dark web and you know 100% that they got your first and last name, ain't shit else you can do. You're fucked. I don't really think there's nothing else you can do. You can't run nowhere. You're not. Yeah. No. Nope. Yeah. No. You good? Nah. Fuck. You are. Yeah. You out of here. It's too late to get out.
The deep web, when he commented on a video, as you do, he returned to the page later to rewatch the video, and there was a reply to his comment that is very astute of you, Mr. Insert real last name. The Redditor said he didn't use the internet for a week after that, as his last name is uncommon. How could someone in the scene of anonymity know his name? That's what one Redditor asked. He got some knowledgeable answers from many on the thread. Beast noted it's pretty easy to find someone's identity on the internet, even on the deep web. Another Redditor, Raincoats George, commented that people are lazy online, using the same usernames and passwords on numerous accounts, and that information is often available and easy to find. The point is, anyone and everyone is vulnerable to this type of sleuthing. Just hope that you won't be next. Number 8. I Spy. The following creepy deep web story was shared by an anonymous Redditor. The worst that happened is I went on a sketchy website, then someone started accessing my camera. However, the Redditor's camera was already broken. This story seemed to give others in the thread the creeps. Waka2642 chimed in saying, "Whenever I'm using my computer, I feel like my camera is recording me, even though it's blocked with a rubber cap and it's not recording." Other Redditors said that feeling as though you're being watched is not unusual. Some people even let it take over their lives. One anonymous Redditor said that he constantly felt as though there were cameras on him, even in the vents of his house, and the paranoia made him act differently. Stubbs94 said he really did have someone watching his every move in a previous job. His employers would watch their staff remotely and then ding him on stuff. The experience made him paranoid, as it probably would anyone. One anonymous Redditor gave some valuable advice. Speaking to someone about the feeling can help, like a professional therapist. The worst thing is, you never know if you're being paranoid or whether someone actually might be spying on you, as this Redditor discovered. Number 7. Caught in the Act. Owen Johnston had an episode on one site, which will make you avoid it by any means. He still isn't completely sure how the individual managed to do what he did. What did he do? In the Redditor's own words, "I was buying some, in quotations, clothing, off the deep web for a while, and one..."
Really? Really? I understand. You may not, afford, top brand, name brand, top of the line clothing. I get that. I get, some people may not afford the no name brand type clothes. I may also understand that you may not afford thrift shopping. Here we go. But what about a hand-me-down? Some Because I feel like if you get your clothes from the dark web, them bitches can't be like... I don't trust nothing from the dark web, let alone clothes. It could be some shit on them clothes that you may not even know about. Just get a black light and scan that bitch. You're gonna be surprised. That just made that I just got really grossed out. You know, because with a black light, you're able to see what you can't really see with like a normal light. Oh, that's nasty. Oh man. Oh ew. Oh. Sorry. Ew. Like, I'm not accepting nothing from the dark web. That's crazy. Yeah, nah. Especially not clothes. I don't know where them bitches came from. It could have came from a dead person. I'm not. Nah, you got it.
One day, received an inbox on my personal Twitter account. The person talked about how I was an amateur and obviously didn't protect my identity enough, and that they would report me to the police with information about the clothing I was buying. What happened when the Redditor said he'd call their bluff? The person chimed back, what would, insert mom and dad's name, say about this, or your teacher's from, insert school name, say. The man, of course, wanted money in exchange for his silence, and what could the Redditor do? All this personal info was in the palm of this man's hands. On top of that, he believed his Tor browser had been compromised. After thinking about it for a while though, he wondered if the man had simply seen the Redditor's personal Twitter account, follow another account titled Is Silk Road Up and Running, and then made an assumption and searched for personal info connected to the account. He decided this is what had happened, so instead of sending money, he simply blocked the account and walked away. Luckily, he seemed to be right. At least nothing further has happened. Which leads us to wonder, was he right about his tactic? Or could his Tor browser be compromised to this day? Number 6. Middle of nowhere. Sometimes those who venture into the deep web might find something dark and disturbing that they don't know how to handle.
No shit.
Especially when the venturer is young and unsure. Redditor Maple Russian was only 12 or so when he first navigated the deep web. He writes, I found a guy who lived in a house in the middle of nowhere, who had his sister locked up in his house and would rent her out to people. I noped out of there pretty fast. When Redditors hopped on the thread, wondering why the Redditor didn't contact authorities about this creep, as he explained he didn't know who to tell, and that he was told that the dark net was untraceable. He also felt uncomfortable explaining what he'd seen to his parents, and so as he said, noped right out of there and deleted the browser. Some also wondered why the feds weren't able to sting these sorts of creeps. Firefly KOS noted it was because these sorts of creeps plan meticulously and mask everything. They share locations and other details of their actions with only people they trust, not with the public. Others noted, however, that the feds are often involved in sting operations and bait and switch schemes on the dark web. So who knows what might have happened had the Redditor or someone else surfing the deep web reported it, and maybe someone did. One Redditor, I'm Your Child, pointed out that whether or not a deep web post looks fishy or fake, this one was worth reporting. The Redditor said that law enforcement agencies sometimes post photos of objects or other items of interest in places like r/whatisthisthing to try and seek any assistance in identifying stuff connected to whatever cases they're trying to solve. This is how they identify locations and build profiles, so any report is a worthy one. As I'm Your Child says, your piece might be one piece of a 10,000 piece puzzle, but every piece counts. Keep that in mind, internet investigators and deep web divers, whenever you come across something of this nature. Number 5. The cloud. If you're not tech savvy, You likely don't have a clue about how the cloud works, just like everyone in this entry. Redditor JWrath describes a website he was once shown with hundreds of pages, of 50 or so streams on each page. He describes it as the stream feed aggregation. What was on these streams? DIY in-home security systems, backed up to the cloud, broadcasting everything going on inside private homes, while the homeowners were none the wiser. This revelation led some on the thread to wonder whether buying a security camera for their own home was in the right way to go. JWrath responded, "I think on your local Wi-Fi would be okay, but it all boils down to one key thing. Know what you are doing with these devices."
You see what I'm talking about? I know this is random. But look at the time. Look at the time on his phone. 11:11. What I'm talking about ain't your numbers.
This is before you deploy them. Others suggested that local Wi-Fi wasn't safe, or at least was vulnerable, and JWrath backed that statement up, saying that some knowledge of networking is necessary in order to make cheap home security systems at all secure. Just a heads up to all those who have such a system installed in their own homes. Know what you're doing, or you may become another unknowing reality star in this swath of live streams. Number 4. Ripped off. As if the surface web isn't bad enough when it comes to rip-offs, the deep web is a haven for them. FizzFox Faxon shared his story of being ripped off at 15 years old. At that age, he was looking for quick and easy ways to make money, and in his own words, stumbled upon this site owned by a Vietnamese guy that claimed to offer PayPal transfers for a small fee. The Redditor decided to give it a shot. With some safeguards in place, he sent the guy a message over a temporary email, and the man responded with a deal, saying he'd take a $300 money order for 600 PayPal dollars. Using a fake name, the Redditor signed up for a Western Union account.
Anything but the deep web. Anything but the deep web. I would even do some shit on the streets if I was desperate for like some cash. I'm not saying I would. But I'm saying I would. You can't, there's not a chance in hell I would ever go to the deep dark web. For nothing at all. At nothing whatsoever. I don't care if like somebody that I love ended up on a dark web. First of all, if somebody that I love ended up on a dark web, oh shit. May God be with you, because I'm not coming after your ass. I'm not saving you. So I just want to let you know that first and foremost. You know, you got yourself into it, you can get yourself right out of it. Honey, boo-boo, sweetheart, all that. There's not a chance in hell. There's nothing on this planet. There's nothing that nobody can say that would cause me to go to the dark web. Because I feel like once you go there, even if you do somehow make it out, you're not all the way out. You're not done with. Not just yet, motherfuckers.
And sent the money using his mom's PayPal. After 30 minutes, there was still no money, and messages to the man went unanswered. Surprise, surprise. However, due to FizzFox Faxon's safeguard, he was able to get his money back. The moral of the story: don't lose yourself in these kinds of schemes. Hard work will pay off in the end, and stay away from the dark web. Number 3. Hitmen. Redditor Aaron Candy came across something not so unusual for the dark web, but still quite scary. He and his friend were navigating the deep web when they came across a hitman for hire, only 10 grand a person. In his words, you provide them with details of who it is, stated no children or public figures, and how long they have to do it. The Redditor said he and his friend immediately noped out of there, and didn't return for a good while. But some on the thread thought the so-called hitman may not have been what he seemed. As commenter Neutron Fish stated, "On the internet, the men are men, the women are men, the kids are FBI agents, and the hitmen are also FBI agents. In other words, on the dark web, if you're doing bad things, you may just get caught after all." Number 2. The Mask. Redditor Cat10back just tells it like it is. His story is both visceral and stomach-churning. In his words, "A friend of mine went digging and found a video of someone taking a face from someone off his head and used it as a mask."
Jesus.
One Redditor, Lost Gunder, said that he watched a video from South America where the folks on it were doing the same thing. Even freakier, the people in the video were laughing. Redditor To Be Read Out Loud notes that the video described has a name, and it's apparently Funky Town. The song is played in the video's background. As the Redditor suggested, if you have any doubt at all about whether you could handle watching it, don't. Believe me, I won't. Before we get to number 1, my name is Chills and I hope you're enjoying my narration. If you're curious about what I look like in real life, then go to my Instagram at DylanIsChillinYT and tap that follow button to find out. It's a proven fact that generosity makes you a happier person, so if you're generous enough to hit that subscribe button and the bell beside it, then thank you. This way you'll be notified of the new video we upload every Tuesday. Number 1. Confessions. What's worse than confessing your misdeeds? Confessing them on the dark web. Redditor Every Good UN Was Taken discovered a site that was basically nothing more than an internet confession board on which users would confess some of their deepest, darkest thoughts or actions, most of which were benign and not anything outrageous. But weirder than the confessors was the confessee. In the Redditor's words, they wouldn't be so bad if the supposed priest making judgment on the confessors was an alleged divine robot who was more than happy to give anathema onto you, two confessors he deemed unworthy of forgiveness. He also gave users really weird instructions to follow if they wanted to be forgiven. While the Redditor doesn't elaborate about what those instructions were, I'm betting they were far from 10 Hail Marys and an Our Father. Thanks for checking out this video. Be sure to subscribe because we upload new countdowns every Tuesday and Saturday. Or if you're still not convinced, here are some of our other videos that I think you'd like. Enjoy!
To the people or peoples that invented the dark/deep web, fuck you and the whole family. Just saying. And I feel like the dark, deep web should be illegal. You know? I feel like because they're able to, like, I feel like the government is able to, like, track if you're on your laptop, computer, phone, whatever you're using to get on the internet, they can track anything you're doing at any given time. So with that being said, if they are able to, like, know your every move while you're on the internet, they should be able to tell, like, yeah, they should be able to tell when you're fucking up by going to the dark, deep web, and in doing so, that would be like a felony or something like that, or like not a felony, but like there'll be some consequences or something like that, because like I'm really convinced that the person or persons that invented this shit were the same people that sat in the back of the fucking classroom, didn't say nothing throughout the whole class, throughout the whole year, whatever. The whole time they was in school, they barely said anything, and when they did say something, it was fucked up and it was weird and creepy as fuck, you know. And if you happen to cross their path or bump into them accidentally or say something to them, right, they would just look at you for like a long ass 10 seconds, right, and then they won't say nothing to you. You know, they'll be like, you know, you accidentally bumped them, right? And you be like, oh, my bad. And then they just look at you like, and then just go on about their business. Like, it's fucking weird, bro. Shit. But I'm not saying y'all shouldn't go to the dark, deep web. But I am saying that y'all shouldn't go to the dark / deep web. And if you do, I mean this in the most nicest of ways. I mean no disrespect when I say this, but fuck you. Keep it cool, keep it classy, and I love you. Stay happy, my family.